everybody, welcome back. Welcome to my podcast, The Journey of a Researcher. I am your host, Dr. Kasturi Banerjee, and today I am going to do the part 2 of the 2-part episode on internships and scholarships. So, in this episode, we are going to talk in details regarding what it actually means, what's the definition of having a scholarship, second, what kind of scholarships are available for students in general and at what level, and the third will be few examples of the thing. If you guys hear my cat playing in the background, please excuse it because she has decided that she needs all the attention when I decide to record. So with no further ado, let's get into this episode. The first thing we need to understand is the definition of a scholarship. A scholarship is an award of financial aid for a student to further their education. They are usually awarded on the basis of academic or other achievements like sports and stuff, as well as financial need, and some scholarships are a mix between the academic and your financial. There are multiple names of it. Some call it scholarships, which is commonly known as. They are also called grant in aid. Some places they will also call it fellowships, which can get confusing with research internship fellowships, and that's a very common confusion to have. They are also known as awards or bursaries, etc. So all in all, if a student is awarded any financial help to complete their education and further their education, that is what a scholarship is meant for. So what kind of scholarships are available in India? Now, I got the KVPY Fellowship, which is a national level fellowship completely based on merit. And the way they decided the merit was through 2 exams. The first was a written exam, which you had to qualify, and based on that, if you made the first cutoff, you were interviewed. And after the interview round in front of 5 scientists who can ask you any question, and you have to explain your answers and be very confident with your answers. If you make that cut, then only you will get the KVPY Fellowship. Since the fellowship was a national fellowship, in my year only 13 people got it, and that's a very common trend with national fellowships. They are very difficult to get. They are very competitive and they are very few in number, so it's very difficult to get them. But don't lose your heart. You can avail other scholarships as well. So scholarship can be given at 4 different levels. You can get scholarships during your school days, and usually they start from 5th standard to 12th standard. Then you have your undergraduate scholarships that cover your education in the undergrad level, or in India the bachelor's level, or at diploma level in some cases. And then you have your master's scholarships that cover the expenses of cost of education for doing a master's degree, and finally fellowship or scholarship to do and complete your Ph.D. Apart from the education level, scholarships are also broken down into national level like KVPY, Inspire, JC Bose national fellowships, at state level like Bihar Talent Search Examination, Nagaland State Merit Scholarship, etc., or at international level like Fulbright, DARD Fellowship, Khorana Fellowship, etc. So once you have figured out at which stage you are trying to avail that fellowship or scholarship, and at which level are you going for national, state, or international level, the next criteria that comes in is what is the scholarship based on? What are their judging criteria? Why will they give you or not give you the scholarship? And that criteria can be broken down into 3 stages. The first one is merit based, where you get the scholarship based on a student's academic performance. That can be on how well you do in your school or in your undergrad program. It can be set off at a certain percentage marks or at a certain CGPA. Like in my childhood, I used to get the Eastern Coalfield Scholarship to encourage young students to be academically interested, and it was a completely academic based scholarship, and I had to get at least 80% mark to get that scholarship. It was a small amount, but it helped me to stay motivated. So there are scholarships like this, which is completely merit based, and I will say KVPY Fellowship is kind of merit based because based on your performance on the test is how they decide whether you get the scholarship or not. Then the second one is means based scholarship, and these are dispersed to students after considering their financial need. So if you come from a family who have an annual income lesser than a certain amount, you can avail this scholarship. And there are various bank driven, community driven, society driven, NGO driven scholarships for this. I'm gonna give two quick examples, like the HDFC Bank Educational Crisis Scholarship, and they cover from 12 students to PhD degree, or the AMP Scholarship Fund, which is a charitable trust for Muslim community to pursue undergrad degree. Lastly, if you do not fall under the financial need category, say if you don't fall under a PPL category, which is the below poverty line category, or based on your caste, unfortunately, your criteria to get enough financial need can be rejected. So what do you do? If you are in that situation, you can actually look for merit cum means based scholarship, because they take both the academic performance and the financial need of the student. So if you are a bright student but your family is not making enough to cover the expenses of the study, but they do not exactly fall in that financial need category, these are some scholarships you can look for. So like Keep India Smiling Foundational Scholarship, again they cover from high secondary education to graduation, diploma, as well as engineering courses. And the part of the AMP Scholarship Fund also covers these merit-based, means-based scholarships. So based on what situation you are, based on where you want to pursue your education, what kind of institute you want to pursue your education, you have these means, you have these scholarships. And I'm going to make it very clear that this episode is just not for people who want to do science and who want to just do research. I want you guys to share this episode with anybody, anyone in your family, anyone in your friend circle, your close kin, who probably will benefit from knowing the fact that there are these scholarships available to pursue their career, to pursue their future, because education can get really costly and you need to find the money to pay for it. Not everybody can take loan, not everybody can pay back that loan. So that doesn't mean you should stop your education. You have these means. For students who are in US, unfortunately I don't have a lot of idea about it, but I can say that there is FAFSA that helps you with education planning. There are multiple private donors and funding sources that you can avail for your education purposes. There is the Humboldt Scholarship, I think there is the Hughes Medical Scholarship, that are very good academic merit based scholarship, and they cover a lot of your education. So look into websites, search, do a Google search. You will be surprised how many scholarships are available in your area of study and education, and a lot of them are of course open for domestic students, but there are a lot of them that are also open for international students. You really need to search for it, kind of. Other than that, there is a lady, I do not exactly recall her name, but I think I kind of overheard her speaking in radio or like in a podcast or maybe like a TED talk, but she was saying that she came from a really economically challenged background and it was not easy for her to pursue her bachelor's or undergrad and graduate level studies. But what she did was she continuously applied to multiple scholarship programs, from small levels which were probably like $500 to really well known ones that probably will cover 5 years of her education. And she said that out of 30 places she applied, she got like accepted in 10 places, and those each $500, $1,000, $3,000. Over the year they accumulated graduated and she completed her entire education at 1/4 the total cost of what she has to pay to the university. And that's same case in India as well. A lot of these educational scholarships, they have direct tie-up with the university, which means if you get this scholarship, they will pay your fee. They will take care of all the expenses. You don't even need to worry about it. You are just going to go and get your degree and get the knowledge at free of cost. One thing, of course, I'm going to mention here, something that a lot of people and students have asked me is when you have these kind of scholarships, how important it is to maintain your grade and your CGPA and all the requirements that is mentioned in the scholarship criteria. I'm going to say it very clear right away. You have to follow those guidelines and you have to maintain those guidelines because they are giving you the money to complete your education. They want you to progress, but to make sure that you are progressing and you're motivated, they have to put some stringent rules on you. If you do not follow them, they have all the right to take it away from you. That is my personal belief. You are telling them you're gonna get this degree, you have to then get that degree, because if you don't do that, it is kind of a trust system. Then they become more reluctant in sponsoring and funding students. So if you're not serious about it, they will reduce the funding amount and say tomorrow your cousin wants to go, your sister wants to go to the same university and they are planning to go for the scholarship. Now they can't because either A, they stopped it, which has happened, or they have reduced the number so much that it is 10,000 times more difficult to get the scholarship than when you got back in your day. So have that appreciation, have that understanding that these financial aid are meant to help you, and you sticking to those rules, you maintaining that GPA, you completing all those criteria is going to build a trust system, and they want to contribute more and more, and tomorrow 5 years down the line somebody from your family can also benefit out of it. So it's a positive feedback feature, and it's amazing because have I not got scholarship from a very early age of 13 when I was in 8th standard, I probably would never had tried to pursue my education in a scholarship based ways. And thankfully, since I did that, it helped me in two ways. A, I knew that my parents were not worried about how to pay for education, even though I am very blessed to come from a very well-to-do family. But still, as I said, education can get really, really, really expensive in time. And with the raising cost of education, you will be surprised how difficult it is to just pay even like a high school level of fees. So it gave me the satisfaction that I was not a financial burden to my parents. I became financially very independent. I learned how to deal with my money at a young age, and by knowing the fact that I had to maintain a certain level of CGPA and I had to do summer internship and I had to submit all the reports to maintain and keep my KVPY Fellowship, it really helped because it always helped me to direct in the positive way. It was this constant determination, this urge, also this fear, oh my god, if I don't do it, I'm gonna lose it. That helped me. That helped me to channel my thoughts, my energy in doing the right thing, which was get my bachelor's and master's. Now, you should never do your PhD without fellowship, and I will tell you why. In PhD, even though it's a degree, you are working at least 50 hours a week. That depends on the major you're doing, the work you're doing, the kind of project you're dealing with, and the kind of mentor lab environment you have. If what you're doing is very cutting edge and there are a lot of collaboration happening, a lot of people helping you, your PI is very understanding, you might work around 40 hours a week, but that's like a dream. Everybody works at least 50 hours a week as a PhD. But if you have a very difficult PI or like a not so collaborative or cooperative lab environment, you probably are the only one working on your own project and you're maybe investing at least 80 hours a week, and that needs payment because you are working for the PI, you're working for the lab, you're helping them progress their research, so you deserve to get paid for all the effort you're doing. And based on where you are, a PhD can take anywhere between 3.5 years, 4 years to 6 to 7 years. So if you don't get a fellowship to cover those 5 years of your PhD work, the effort, the time you're giving in, you really don't have any time at the end of the day. I don't think after working 60 or 50 hours a week in the lab, anybody has any energy to do part-time job. For master students, I can understand that's a possibility. It's a very common thing that happens in US and a lot of other countries. I'm not sure about India. But for a PhD student, that's next to impossible. You are going to exhaust yourself and you are going to burn yourself out, and that's not gonna help because you will become depressed, you will become frustrated, you're gonna lose all your good relationships. So I'm not trying to be a party pooper, but from a humanitarian perspective, from someone who has done PhD, from my own personal health and mental health point of view, I am going to request all of you, until unless you're doing a part-time PhD where you come and go, I don't know how that works, but until unless you are doing a part-time PhD, if you're a full-time PhD graduate student, do not work if you are not offered a fellowship. That is my piece and I will stand by it. Basically, if I had not had the 5-year financial stipend to sponsor my PhD, I probably would not have survived living in USA and living in Omaha, because I don't have that kind of money. My parents don't make that kind of money. 5 years? That's a lot. So what else? Oh yeah, I'm going to definitely expand and put more links on the kind of scholarships you can look for. So I'll quickly touch upon the international level scholarships that I know about. So the Fulbright scholarship is mostly for arts and humanities, and it has a Indo-UK as well as Indo-US part. So you can go for your master's or PhD through Fulbright Fellowship. The DART Fellowship is Indo-Germany group, and they fund at both undergrad, I think both master's and PhD level. I am not sure about the undergrad level, but I know that when I was applying for German Institute, the PIs asked me to first look for DART Fellowship, and I was looking to them. So they definitely have multiple PhD scholarship, fellowship, stipend, whatever you want to call, to help you get your PhD degree in Germany, and they will completely sponsor that entire PhD education. So DART is a very well-known organization that sponsors Indian students in Germany for their education. The Khorana program is a biology specific Indo-USA program. So if you are someone who is doing anything in biology, basically, definitely look into Khorana program, because they have multiple fellowship types in different subfield, and I think the major one is where you go and get your PhD at University of Wisconsin-Madison, and it's a fantastic university. I personally know someone from Aysar Mohali who was my senior. He went there and he did his PhD there, and he had a very good experience. So yeah, so it's a very well-known university. A lot of people that I know either have done summer internships there or are doing their master's or PhD program there. So definitely, if you are someone who is doing any work in life sciences, look at this. Another good website that you can look at, from where I got a bunch of these examples, because honestly speaking, my knowledge was very limited in the number of scholarships available, and while I was looking into articles and figuring out what I can share with you, this website really helped. It's called buddyforstudy.com. Again, it's buddyforstudy.com. The other one that I used while I was looking for PhD positions abroad was scholarships-positions.com. Why was that so difficult to say? It became a tongue twister. God. Okay. Anyway, these two websites are really good. So in buddyforstudy.com, you will get all the scholarships that are very popular and sponsor multiple education level in in India at different levels. So they have a very good list of state level scholarships, national level scholarships, and also broken down in merit means and merit means based categories. And scholarship-positions.com is a wonderful website to look for positions that are either at master's level or PhD level and are being funded. So if you apply to that program, that means you are applying for the fellowship that's going to cover that program, and it is amazing for anybody who is international. So if you are an Indian student, want to go in an international place, that's one place I will say absolutely to look for. And they categorize it based on all the countries there are. So just type in the country you want, they will tell you everything. If you are an American student who wants to say study abroad in any country, pretty much, you again do the same thing. Type in scholarship for US students in say Australia, and it will give you the whole list of all the available programs and universities and funding agency. So definitely go and check this website. I think that will be it in this episode. This is not a very big episode because I wanted it to be more educational and just wanted to let you guys know that don't give up hope just because you don't have the financial support. Look for it, search for it. You will always find something that works for you and your situation. And if you don't get the big ones, go for the small ones. They all add up. They will always add up, and you will not even realize that by the time you get all the scholarship that probably they're covering more than 50% of your education, and that's huge for any student. I don't think anybody will be sad that they got scholarship because they also add on to your CV. They make you look smart, like really, really smart. So with that, that's the part 2 of the series. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all the review and the constant love and support you guys keep on giving me. As I said, I'm working on the website. Hopefully I should have that ready by the end of this year, where everything I've talked about, I'm going to link articles, I'm going to link website. I will try to expand on these internship scholarship opportunities so that it's easy for all of you to find all these resources in one place. And all I ask for you guys is to keep supporting me. Please listen to my podcast. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or iTunes, please subscribe there. Like my Facebook channel, share my Facebook page, not channel, share my YouTube channel, link, anything. Your each share, like, comment supports me, motivates me, makes me really happy. So with that, see you in the next episode, and bye-bye. Take care.